clients come in, they're like, pick whatever, I'll take it. And we don't do that. Like we don't try, like, if you're in a time rush, we can give you a quick little snippet, but we really want you to be involved because, again, we have to manage expectations. So when they come, we'll spend anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes with the client to go over everything with them as much as possible. And, women interact with CBD different from men, right?
Yeah.
So if you can document your cycles, because when you're ovulating, your anandamide levels are higher than when you're not. So maybe you don't need as much, when you're menstruating and have your period, you might need a little bit more. So we try to curate in that sense too. And because, we're actually the only minority women-owned CBD shop in Manhattan, we have a dedicated women's health section that other stores, don't have.
Yeah,
so
that's great.
We try very hard to make sure that we meet all of the demands of everyone who's walking in.
Yeah, no, that's awesome to hear. I love the approach, the focus on quality products, effective products, the medical education, and beyond. I'm really stoked to hear all of that. And I know when we were talking before we started recording, we were also talking about journaling. And I know that that's something that you always encourage people to do as well. That I was really excited to hear.
Yeah, I think journaling is a process. It's not glamorous and it's not quick.
Right.
And I think we're not used to that, right? Because everything you get right away. Like you want something, you get it right away. And you want results, you hopefully you'll get it right away. And sometimes, when people learn about CBD, sometimes it can be just an adjacent lesson from THC. So they're smoking, they're going, I got high that night, right? CBD, you might not feel anything the first day. You might feel something, on the second week that you do it. So managing the expectation is very important. That's why journaling is so important. So we always advocate, microdosing, starting with a low subtherapeutic dose and then increase, through the days to make sure you reach your optimal dose.
Mm-hmm.
But that process takes time.
Yep.
So whenever a client comes in, we, again, going back to, making parallels to other parts and other things that they're doing in their lives. But for example, if you were to take probiotics, the first time you take it's not going to help. You might find the optimal result at 2 months, right? The CBD might be a few weeks. That's same thing for hair loss. If you were to use Rogaine, you're going to find optimal result at 6 months to a year, right? Not the first time. So I think giving people parallels puts things into perspective, and they're much more engaged in the process than just taking it and leaving.
Exactly. Yeah. And it makes it way more relatable. So it's not just this like alien substance that, they have heard about, but have no way to put it into any conceptual box to make sense of it.
Right. And then, journaling for me, it's helped tremendously. I also understand what carrier oils works for me from journaling.
Yeah.
I understand, outside of the dosing side, but maybe what terpene profiles I really liked compared to others, and what I don't do well with. So I think it's good and bad that what products work for you, what formulations work best for you. And we provide these serving guides at the store. And another thing that's like titration, I think is some people, they're used to that, and others it's a very foreign concept if you haven't done it for yourself. So usually our parallel to titration is that, I've been on antidepressants when I was younger. I took Laxapro.
Oh yeah, I'm familiar with that.
Yeah. So they gave me 5 milligrams at first, right? And then they checked in on me a month later and gave me 10 milligrams. And they're like, how did you feel on 5 versus 10? And I go, I like 10 a little bit more, but some days, the triggers are pretty bad, and I still get my panic attacks. But okay, we'll give you 15 now, right? And that's another month out. Then they'll check up on me. So that is titration. That's done with the supervision of a psychiatrist. You are doing that yourself now when it comes to CBD. You're titrating and recording everything yourself now. Yes, it's much more of an involved process, but I think it's a very empowering process because you really understand your body a lot better after you do this. So I think after we make that kind of analogy, they get, oh, I get it. Like before it was with someone else. Now I'm doing it myself. So that's been really helpful to have these kind of parallel points that they can understand how to do and implement that in their own lives.
Yeah, well, and that's such a timely message because I just the last behind the scenes interview I released on the podcast was with Dr. James Taylor, who's a pain physician in North Carolina. And he was talking about this too, that with his patients that are trying to treat chronic pain with CBD, some of them don't like, they'll think nothing's happening until sometimes even a month or two out when they're using it. And so it takes a lot of patience to like get to that point. And even there was, I believe it was some of the Epidiolex research showed that it took up to sometimes 10 weeks before effects would plateau, and they'd sort of not see any changes anymore. So I think it's a really important message for people to understand that. And it's like you said, this applies with so many things. It's not just CBD, but you don't know how something's affecting you until it's been a part of your lifestyle for a while.
Yeah.
And so you can't make rushed decisions.
No, no. And I know it's a very unglamorous thing to say now in the world that it's everything's available at your fingertips, but
Right.
it does take time. And another thing that we also do is that we always say, if you can dedicate a month to 2 months to taking it regularly,
Yeah.
and if you can, just stop for a month or 2 months, and then compare your time without taking it to the time that you took it, and journal through the whole experience. And if you find that CBD is something that you need and something that's helpful for you, when the periods that you're not taking it, you can reflect on those periods and
Yeah.
see if this is working for you or not. So I think just really being very much more client focused and making sure that their health is a priority, not the product, has made these conversations very enriching when it comes to client care,
Yeah.
right? Because it's really hard to go in a shop and go, don't take it. Like, take it for a month, and don't take it. Right?
Right.
Do that because you don't know until you try it, right? If it's not beneficial, then there's other ways for us to help. We can connect you to an acupuncturist, we can
Hmm.
connect you to another physician, a dermatologist, or whatever it is that you need. But that time period is necessary for you to find if this is something that's helpful for you or not.
Yeah.